All right, we're gonna round things out. Well, I guess we'll be rounding things out with artifacts and lands, but we're close to rounding things out here with green. First up in the commons, we've got Snarling Wolf. Single green for a 1/1 wolf with 1 and a green. It gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Activate only once each turn.
This is really cool, actually. It does a lot of things. So it's a 1-drop for your Coven decks, and it's a wolf with an activated ability for your red-green decks. If you ever play with Basking Rootwalla, which is what this card is kind of a callback to, this baseline of 1/1 that turns into a 3/3 is a lot better than it looks.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 1-drop that actually can get in for a lot of damage and threaten a lot of damage. It often can't be blocked for a few turns, and then when it does, it trades. So I'm actually a pretty big fan. Get a counter on this thing, even better there. So I think this card is actually pretty good.
Where do you land on it?
I would probably give it a C+.
Huh. It's a little high for me. I'm gonna go C. But
yeah, fair enough.
I like
I just think it's good enough It's good in enough places, and it's just the baseline of the card is also pretty good.
Yeah. Bramble Armor is next. We got 1 and a green for an artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+1, and it has an equip cost of 4.
No? I'm not into this.
I would say no to this. I would give this like a D-.
Yeah, it's got the snap-on equipment thing, but it's just not a good enough stat boost. Yeah, I might just give this an F. I don't think you ever want to play this card, to be honest.
I'm fine with that.
Next up, we got Duel for Dominance. This is 1 and a green for an instant. Coven. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. If you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, put a +1/+1 counter on the chosen creature you control. Then, the chosen creatures fight each other. So, Ethan, you and me, we love a fight spell, don't we?
Oh, I love it. I love removal. I love removal that has to be timed just right, that has setup cost on the board.
Right. Just, we've had a lot of conversations today that have come up of things that have kind of shifted in the past few years, limited. And one of those things is that your base rate for your fight spell has to be pretty good because they incur a lot of risk. They're a little bit awkward to cast. They sometimes just don't get the thing you need to kill. So this is if you don't have Coven, it's just 2-mana instant speed fight, which is not very good. If you do have Coven, you get a counter, so things do line up a bit nicer for you. I'm still not going to be very high on this card, though.
Forgot to mention when we were talking about how bad pacifisms were, that fight spells make pacifisms worse as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not very high on this either. I think I'll start at a C-.
Yeah, I'm going to go with C- as well.
Yeah. That's a shame. That's a shame. Coming off of 2 bite spells in AFR. Yeah. Next up, we got Harvest Tide Sentry, 1 and a green for a 3/1 human warrior with Coven at the beginning of combat. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn.
I kind of like this. I think this is kind of cool. It gives you a 3-power creature early. So you can go your 1-drop into a 3-power creature into maybe a 2-power 3-drop. That we've seen a few of those in white for enabling your Coven. And then, yeah, that line of text is pretty good, actually.
That's the Ronus Stalwart text, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the Daunt
which
ability.
Surprisingly, yeah, is relevant, though it's not going to be relevant early in the game, which is where it's at its best, when your opponent is playing just small creatures, right? You won't be getting Coven until later.
I wouldn't be surprised if you got Coven on turn 4 a lot of the time.
Right, but on turn 4, your opponent's going to have a 3-power thing.
Oh, and then they trade. You're happy if they have to trade up with their 4-drop or whatever, right?
Sure. That's the best case scenario, I think.
Sure. I think all in all, this is about a C, though. It's got a lot of text on it. It does enough good things.
Yeah, I'm going C-, I think.
All right, fair enough.
What's next?
Let's see. Next up, we've got Might of the Old Ways. This is 1 and a green for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Coven. If you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you draw a card.
I mean, the ceiling on this card is there.
Yeah. Cantripping.
Enable Coven. You have a 2/2, a 2/2, and a 3/3. Turn a 2/2 into a 4/4. Enable Coven. Eat a creature in combat. Draw a card. But it's a combat trick. How many? Yeah. You can't play. How many of these can you play?
Right.
I think
maybe 4 of them. Who knows? Maybe it's that good.
I think it's probably a C-.
Yeah, I'm going to go with C. It does have that upside there. I think I think that the Coven decks are a lot more interested in winning like the board presence fight rather than like a localized fight between two things, really. So I don't think this is going to be like the main way your Coven decks play out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like I said, the upside's there. So I'll just give it a C.
Yeah. Next up is Pestilent Wolf. 1 and a green for a 2/2 wolf, and it has 2 and a green. It gains Death Touch until end of turn.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a bear that trades off fighter. Great. Fine. Yeah. Solid C again.
C, yeah.
Yeah.
That seems fine. I think again. I'm going a little lower. I feel like we're maybe saying the same things. I just feel like this feels replaceable to me. Like to go back to the R's a little bit. I feel like Pestilent Wolf, Might of the Old Ways, even the Sentry. They don't feel unique.
No, I don't think so either. But like, again, I think cheap cards are just going to be really important in the format for all the reasons we've said, but also these like cards that get activated abilities or like keywords, also like play well with the white counter stuff. I don't know. I think they just do enough.
Okay. But like they're interchangeable, right?
Yeah, most likely. And is like, but yeah, I think so. But that's still a fine C for me.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, next up we got Plummet. 1 and a green, destroy target creature that's flying. Sideboard,
yep. Not much to talk
Moving
about.
on.
Moving on.
Another sideboard card. Return to nature. 1 and a green, instant. Destroy target artifact. Destroy an enchantment. Or exile target card from a grave. I mean, I suppose you could main deck it, but I don't think you're really going to want to.
Yeah. I mean, much like in Theros Beyond Death, the exile part was relevant.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think... Nothing to write home about there. Next, we got Tapping at the Window. 1 and a green for a sorcery. Look at the top three cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. And has Flashback for 2 and a green. Tracker's Insight, but it only goes 3 deep, not 4 deep.
Yeah, I don't think this is very good.
No.
Like, even in your self-mill deck.
Right, I mean, your creature count has to be so high, and even then it's going to miss some amount of the time.
Yeah, 3 deep is not a lot. Yeah, I can't. Like, if you really wanted to dump cards in your grave, this is like, 5 mana, dump 6, and then maybe draw a creature or 2. But
right.
I could see this having a place, but I'm going to start low at, like, D or something, yeah.
Yeah, this seems like D territory to me, I agree.
Next up is Timberland Guide, the reprint. This is 1 and a green for a 1/1. Human Scout, when it enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature.
This I like, especially with Coven. This is very cool.
yeah, exactly. You get 1/1 and you can put the counter somewhere. Yeah, that's kind of cool actually.
I think it feels like this will be better. I mean, maybe it's secret green white or whatever, but
are we giving this the C?
I'm gonna give it a C, but I like this better than the other. This feels like a little bit of cut above the rest of the other ones for me.
All right, fair enough. Let's just give it a C.
You don't have to agree with me.
Oh no, that's what I would give it.
You can be, be contrarian if you want. Next is Bounding Wolf, 2 and a green for a 3/2 wolf with flash and reach.
It's funny.
Number 34. Bounding Wolf has reach.
Yeah. Well, I guess the idea is that it's a flash creature, right? With your werewolves. That's
the joke.
Here. Yep.
I don't think that's not a funny joke to me. That's not a joke that I'm interested in telling particularly.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So it's like it's very filler. I think it's like a D+ probably.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping to never run this card.
Yep. Next up we got Eccentric Farmer. So this is 2 and a green for a 2/3 human peasant. When Eccentric Farmer enters the battlefield, you mill 3 cards, and you may return a land from your graveyard to your hand.
Most drafted common for Ethan.
I like this. What do
you think? What are the bets?
Oh, I'm doubling down. I'm quad down if you can. Yeah, I think this card's also like even outside of a deck that like wants to self-mill. This is just a decent card.
Yeah, I mean it's not likely on its own. I guess likely on its own to draw you a land.
I think you're I have to run the numbers, and I'm sure somebody's gonna run the numbers in chat right now. But in the dark, you're probably like 70% to hit a land or something, right?
Yeah, and Evolving Wilds is in this set. That's a good point
Evolving
too.
Wilds, yeah, that's kind of.
So it's a human for the green-white decks. If we're just thinking about like pure synergies or whatever, Sirkovit's saying in a 17-land deck, 83%. Love to see it. Green, black, and green, blue both have graveyard synergies happening. Green red feels like this might be the only deck that likes it the least, and even then, this is fine.
So
C+ for me.
Oh, I was gonna go B-.
Ooh. Oh, you don't have to. Oh, you don't have to convince me.
You can't join me. Okay,
come
on up.
I'll come on up to the B-. Oh, baby. Okay.
All right. Next up, we've got Howl of the Hunt. This is 2 and a green for an enchantment aura. It's got flash. The enchanted creature. When Howl of the Hunt enters the battlefield, if enchanted creature is a wolf or a werewolf, you untap it, and the enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has vigilance.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I actually like this quite a bit. I actually like this
quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Once again, yeah. So the thing, this is like a trick that sticks around, right? You attack your 2/2 into their 2/2, and it goes, I win the combat, I untap my creature, I now have a 4/4 vigilance. This is good. And then if your opponent doesn't go for it, right, you can just ambush them in combat sometimes, or just at the end of their turn, flip your werewolf, cast this, and your werewolf's huge.
Yeah, you're right. This is
good. Yeah.
This is, again, I think it's a red green gold card.
Sure, but not. I don't think exclusively. Like, it's probably at its best there, but I think it's going to be playable in other decks too.
C+?
I think this is a C+. Yeah, I think this is enough of a blowout, enough of the time, and has enough flexibility.
So going to be a huge blowout early in the format for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Path to the Festival. 2 and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Then if there are 3 or more basic land types among lands you control, scry 1. And it has flashback for 4 and a green.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a good way to fix.
Yeah.
Fixes your mana, unlike a lot of these green sorcerers we've seen recently.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, finds non-forests, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting.
Very likely to scry 1, because it's you're not playing this in a 2-color deck, probably.
Right, yeah. I think there's going to be certain decks that want this. Not all decks do, 100%, right? But in the decks that want it, it's going to be solid C there.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Also, really gorgeous art. That's I can only see a small picture, but wow, that's really cool art.
Yeah, and no flavor text, which is great.
Yeah, it's the Ethan special. All right.
All right, this might be in competition for top drafted common for me.
We got Bird Admirer. This is 2 and a green for a 1/4. It's a werewolf human. It's got reach and daybound. So 1/4 reach on the front side, back side 3/5 reach. His claw recluse turns into a mammoth spider.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Yeah.
if you want to block, this blocks, baby.
Yep.
I'd give it a C, I think.
Yeah, let's do that. All right.
Alex wants to give it an F. Next we've got Dawnheart Rejuvenator. 3 and a green for a 2/4. When it ETBs, you gain 3 life, and it taps to add 1 mana of any color. I like that green's getting to ramp and fix here.
Yeah. So I think that this card is going to be a little bit better than it was the last time we saw it in War of the Spark. Mostly because green was kind of in War of the Spark, and hopefully
Yeah.
Look, we're already giving it some we're putting some good juju into this, and we're saying green's going to be good this time around.
Yeah.
And the card does good things, right? It blocks decently well, it gains you some life.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, this is another. In the decks that want this, it's going to be pretty good. You don't want to play it in all your decks, but in those decks, it's going to be a C+.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to give it a synergy C+, I think.
Sweet.
For, the decks that want it, but whatever. Shadow Beast Sighting is next. 3 and a green for a sorcery. Create a 4/4 green beast creature token. It has flashback for 6 and a green.
Chonk,
yeah.
Chonk and value. I wonder if he's going to feel a little outclassed because of the werewolves. Just 4/4 for 4. I mean, it's a fine base rate. There's some sets where 4/4 is better, and some where it's worse. But I wonder if this is going to be one of those ones where it's oh yeah, it's fine, or one of the ones where it's oof, that's huge.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm just thinking about this in blue green, and self mill, and just incidentally having all this value. I don't know. Is this a C?
I give it a C+. I think
C+?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a 2-for-1. It's a decent sized creature.
Yeah, I guess it is 2-for-1.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Alrighty. Next up, we've got Candlelit Cavalry. This is 4 and a green for a 5/5, and has Coven. If you have Coven, it gains Trample at the beginning of combat.
That seems fine to me.
Yeah, totally serviceable.
C,
right,
C,
fine.
C minus, I think.
Fine 5-drop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And our last common here is Tireless Hauler, 4 and a green for a 4/5 with Vigilance. It's a werewolf, so it's got Daybound, and then the flip side is a 6/6 with Vigilance.
Ooh,
no Honey Mammoth.
Yeah, for once.
This is like the first set in so long, right?
The reign of Honey Mammoth.
Hill Giant Herdgorger, Ravenous Lindworm, Honey Mammoth. Like, no big chonker that gains you life at common.
Yeah. This is... 6's Vigilance is pretty nice.
5 and a 4/5 Vigilance is big.
Yeah. I like this.
Yeah, see?
Yep.
Yeah.
Give it a nice little C.
All right. Moving on to the uncommons.
Yeah.
We've got another, not really a 1-drop. It's
we got Contortionist Troop. This is X and a green for a 0/0 creature. It enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. So, IV Elemental-ish. And Coven ability is the beginning of your end step. If you control 3 creatures with different powers, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control.
Well, I talked about this week on the show, so I want to hear your thoughts on this card.
Yeah, so I'm, a big anti IV Elemental. First, I think that card is just like, too bad at any point in the curve generally until it's like, 10 mana where it's kind of arbitrary. But I think this really does make up for it a lot. Like, this both it lets you engineer that a number that you're missing in your Coven count, but also like it automatically is, an XX for X, whatever you pay, or sorry, not X, but like however much mana you can put into it. If you have 2 other creatures, you get Coven. Say you pay 4 mana for this, it's a 3/3. It can enter as a 4/4, essentially, right? And putting it around, spreading the love around is really cool.
Getting to keep Coven active.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Right,
too.
As the game, you can go, okay, well, I shifted here, but then I can shift. I like this card.
I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot too. What would you give it?
B-, I think. I think this pulls me into green.
Yeah, let's give it a B-. A little optimistic, but all right. What's next?
Turn the Earth, baby. Single green for an instant. Choose up to 3 target cards in graveyards. The owners of those cards shuffle them into their libraries. You gain 2 life, and it has flashback for 1 and a green, and you can loop 2 of these together.
All right, we are 5, maybe 6 hours into the set review. I am not big brain enough at this moment to think of all the cool things you can do with this card. I'm sure you've thought about it at some point here, and it kind of calls back to like some sort of spider spawning-ish, deck.
You can't deck with 2 of these, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be something that we figure out, soon enough. So I'm going to earmark this card as a potentially very important synergy card, and we'll come back to it later, basically.
Sounds good. Yeah. I like this card. I'm gonna go synergy C+ here, but
sweet.
I'll mark you down for the same.
I really like this card. So this is Death Bonnet Sprout. This is a 1-mana 1/1. It's a fungus. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. Then if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, transform Death Bonnet Sprout. The backside is a 3/3 Death Bonnet Hulk. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile a card from a graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and any graveyard, not just yours.
This card's great.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's it's cheap. It comes down, starts fueling synergies itself, and then it just like grows really large. Yeah, I'm really a big fan of this.
Yeah. What do you give this?
Probably a B-. I think. I think it just does enough stuff. It's cheap enough. It's kind of a Coven-y card as well. Like it overlaps with enough synergies that I think both on the synergy spectrum and just like the pure rate spectrum, if you want to look at it both ways, I think it's good enough, and I'd give it a B-.
Next up is Outland Liberator. It's 1 and a green for a 2/2 human werewolf. You can pay 1, sacrifice Outland Liberator, destroy target artifact or enchantment. It's a werewolf, so daybound. Nightbound side is a 3/3. Pay 1, sack it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. And whenever Frenzied Trapbreaker, that's the flip side, attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. There's just not a lot of artifacts and enchantments, though.
No, but there's a few. There's the there's enchantment-based removal spells, and that we've seen. And I mean, just a solid card no matter what, right?
Sure.
If it's just a 2-mana werewolf that turns into a bigger werewolf from the back.
Yeah,
really nice.
So, but this doesn't pull me into green, I don't think.
I don't know. It's super efficient. It's just decent. I would give it a C plus.
Yeah, C plus.
Yeah, okay,
That's
fair enough.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not a pull into the color. Not like this card.
Kind of clear shot. 3 mana, 2 and a green for an instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control.
I mean, it is at the end of the day just Hunter's Mark.
For cheaper though.
For 1 mana cheaper. It's good.
Matters.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the same conversation with Ben. I think this is good, but like back in the day, this card, everyone like lost their minds.
Nutty, yeah, it was.
Over this
but
card.
it was pretty nutty back in the day, though. Like, I don't think that's just. If you went back and played that format, Eldritch Moon, I think you'd be like, oh yeah, it's still really good. I agree with your sentiment of, the synergies might, the more synergistic uncommons might push this down a little bit in the top uncommon rankings, but it's still really good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and is an instant, of course, on top of everything.
It's a B plus?
Yeah, I'd give it a B.
Yeah.
The great thing about this, just like with Hunter's Mark, is you can get a 2-for-1 on it, like, fairly consistently, right? Where you go, they block, they think they're going to make a trade, you give +1/+1, you kill something else.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Dawn Heart Mentor is next. 2 and a green for an 0/4 human warlock. When it ETBs, you make a 1/1 white human creature token, and it has Coven. You just pay 5 and a green to give target creature you control +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. Not at sorcery speed. Just whatever you want to dump 6 mana into this.
Interesting. So it's really good at enabling Coven, right? Because 4 and a 1/1. And I think that's its purpose for the main part. It kind of just like enables Coven and sits around, and then later you have this mana sink, right? I don't know. I don't know how hard. I don't know if you have to play this card to enable Coven. Like, it might just be easy enough, and then the activated ability might just be like kind of expensive and clunky enough that it's not actually that high of a pick. It's got a lot going on though. I think it's okay. I think it's like a C or C plus level card.
I'm a little higher on this myself.
All right.
Yeah, I like this as a two of your 3 bodies for Coven, and two of the 3 harder to get powers.
Yeah,
Coven,
that's a good point.
Right?
All right, I'll
gets
come
you
up.
0 and 1.
Yep.
And the activated ability, like once you have 6 mana and you're attacking with this, what the heck is your opponent supposed to do?
Yeah, I'll come up with this. I agree. So you want to get like B plus?
Not B plus, because I think in I'm trying to think. Well, maybe like the deck that I think wants this the least is red green, but even then, this gives you something to do with your mana to go Nightbound, etc. Yeah, I think it's a solid B for me.
Sweet. All right, I'll give it a B minus.
Okay.
All right, next up we've got Dryads Revival. This is 2 and a green for a sorcery. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Flashback, 5 mana. 4 and a green. So it's a regrowth, and then you're regrowth again later, basically.
Yes. I mean, please let this blue-green deck be a thing, please.
I'll tell you something. There's enough cards in this set that point towards it being a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, some decks are really going to want this, some decks aren't.
Yeah.
Regrowth with flashback is really powerful.
This is just like some of the other cards you've seen. The better your deck is, the better this card gets, right?
Yeah. I know. C plus?
I would give it a C. I think it's a little, little clunky.
It's a little clunkety trinkety. Yeah.
All right. That's it.
Next up is Hound Tamer. 2 and a green for a 3/3 human werewolf with trample. You can pay 3 and a green to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It's a werewolf, so it has daybound, so you flip it. And then it's a 4/4 trample. Other wolves and werewolves you control have trample. And oh, look, it still has the same put a +1/+1 counter on target creature ability.
This card's so good.
What the heck?
So they're never blocking this on turn 3, right?
Turn 4, you mean?
Oh, so turn 4, yeah. And then, like, if the game goes on, you just, like, grow all your creatures. And, of course, broke your record here, but it's an activated ability on a werewolf. Yeah, this is like a B-level card.
B plus, I think.
All right, yeah. I'll say B, but... all right, we've got Brood Weavers. Is 3 and a green for a 2/3 reach.
2/4.
Brood Weaver... 2/4 reach.
Yes.
When Brood Weaver dies, create a 1/2 green spider token with reach. Those cowards won't give us Penumbra Spider.
It's not Penumbra Spider, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it's still really good. This is a pain to get through.
Yeah. This is great.
Like, so for like a green mid-range deck or a red aggro deck or like, something attacking on the ground, it's a little bit annoying because like they can probably find a good trade and then you get a creature. If your opponent's planning to attack you in the air, like this thing, they need some sort of interaction. They can never reasonably fight through this. So it's gonna block most of their stuff, and even if you like make the painful trade, they're gonna have a 1/2 as well. So this card's good.
B-.
Yeah, I would give this a B-.
All right, next is Defend the Celestis. 2 GG for an instant. Distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control. Again, I talked about this week, so you can... I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like high blow-up potential for sure. But this is very similar to like a rally maneuver style card, right? Where it's like little bits, it's not quite the trick. Like it doesn't play that role of a trick exactly. And it's got such high upside, but at the same time, it's always a little bit awkward. You might argue that the upside is higher than something like Rally Maneuver, but I don't think it's that high of a pick or anything.
Yeah, I like that it plays well with Coven and Werewolves.
Yeah.
I like that, that you get to stack the counters. I usually don't like these effects, but this seems appealing to me.
It does seem appealing. They're very good at making kind of medium cards seem appealing.
Wow, okay, kind of medium. So where are you at on this?
I would just give this a C.
All right, I'm down with C.
All right, fair enough. Next up, we got Burly Breaker. This is 5 mana, 3 GG for a 6/5 Ward 1. Hoo-wee. That's a hefty boy or hefty girl on the front side there, and that's just the day-bound side. On the night-bound side, it's a 8/7 Ward 3.
Chonky.
It's a purple worm on the backside, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm into this.
What is this? A B? B-? I think I'm gonna go B-.
Probably B-. Yeah, I think that's probably appropriate.
All right, last card here at Uncommon. Rise of the Ants. 4 GG for a sorcery. Create 2 3/3 green insect creature tokens. You gain 2 life, and it has flashback for 6 green.
Yeah, I love it.
I love this card.
Cool card. Yeah, it stabilizes you, gains you some life, flash it back later.
The blue-green deck. I love it. This card's so good.
All right, Ethan, what do you want to give this one?
It's, I more than any set I feel like I've ever looked at, my inclination for a lot of these cards is that so many of them are secret gold cards. And this looks to me like a secret blue-green or maybe black-green. Can't quite figure out what black-green's trying to do-ish because it doesn't seem to have as much self-mill. But if this feels like we don't get spider spawning. We get this.
Right.
But this feels like a good thing for a blue-green self-mill deck.
Yeah, I like it.
So I don't know, a pull into that deck as a B-.
I think you're probably gonna get this card a little bit later too. Like it's gonna be good in that deck, and it's gonna be like, ooh, you get that 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah.
So it really solidify you in that deck. I'm gonna go C+. But
yeah. All right, our first rare for Willow Geist. Single green for a 1/1 Treefolk Spirit with Trample. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Willow Geist, and when it dies, you gain life equal to its power.
Yeah, so a little weird. Like, plays okay with the white and blue cards with Disturb.
Which this is not.
Yeah, and the black cards with the regrowth, which this is not. It doesn't really play that well with the green cards unless I'm missing something.
I mean, there are some flashback cards.
Flashback, for sure, yeah. I don't think this is particularly good, though.
I think this is like a D+.
Yeah, I think this is much more of a constructor card.
Agreed.
Yeah, okay. Let's give it a D.
Yeah.
All right, next up we've got a good card. This is Auger of Autumn. This is 1 green for a 2/3 human druid. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You can play lands from the top, and Coven, you can cast creatures from the top of your library.
Dang.
Yeah, real nice. Just if this was just a little bit of a downgraded Courser of Crucifix as the 2/3 for 3 play lands off the top, still be good. The Coven ability, that really pushes off the edge because you can really get to the point where if you draw this in the late game and you go a turn cycle, you untap, you can go like play a land, cast a creature, maybe cast another creature. And then there's certain turns where you're going to be able to draw 2 or 3 off of this sometimes.
I think this is an A-.
Yeah, I would give that an A- as well.
This is a must kill, I think.
Yep, I agree.
Because like unlike Courser, where like but even if it's just Courser is like a B+.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, you just can't let this hang around. Briar Bridge Tracker. Hello, Nurse. 2 and a green for a 2/3 with Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, investigate. Makes a clue token, and as long as you control a token, Briar Bridge Tracker gets +2/+0.
Yeah, so there's not actually, now I've been through most of the set, there's actually not that much investigate, right? There's like 5 cards or something with it. So you're gonna have to find your token other places if you want to crack this clue here. But just the base rate of 3 mana, 4/3 Vigilance that draws you a card at some point, that's just fantastic on its own. And it's not gonna be hard to find a token. There's 1/1s running around in white. There's like a few things in other colors. Like you're gonna be able to crack your clue, have your cake and eat it too, as it were. So I really like this card. I think it's like a B+.
Yeah, I'm going B. I like this card a lot.
All right, we've got the last of the Adversary Mythic cycle, Primal Adversary. This is 2 and a G for a 4/3 trample. So just big old 3-drop here. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 and a green any number of times, and when you pay the cost 1 or more times, put that many +1/+1 counters on Primal Adversary. Then up to that many target lands you control become a 3/3 wolf creature with haste, and they're still lands. So it's like 4 mana, 3 mana, 4/3 trample, not a bad rate. 5 mana, you get a 5/4 trample, and one of your lands turns into a 3/3. Now, mind you, it'll be tapped if you don't have don't play this on 6 lands. That land's gonna be tapped for the turn, doesn't untap or anything, but that's still a really good deal.
This is hella powerful. This is, I think, a B+.
Imagine drawing this on playing this for 7. Then you got a 6/5 trampler, and then 2 of your lands become a 3/3. Yeah, this is really good. I might even just go A- on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next is Sereth the Viper's Fang, 2 GG for a 3/4 legendary creature human warlock. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch. Other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. You can pay 1 to tap this creature to untap another target creature or land you control.
What an annoying card. Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to block stuff. And then it's also like really impossible to kill stuff.
Yeah, basically, you have to kill this first at very least, right?
But how? Because this will be untapped.
Other untapped.
Oh, other untapped. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dies to
itself.
Doomblade, whatever. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
God, is this an A-?
Yeah, I think
probably.
So. Yeah, this is just an A. I think it also ramps you if you want. It's gives you vigilance. Yeah, I don't know. This card's just really, really good.
Yeah,
I give it an A.
Okay.
All right, next up we've got Consuming Blob. This is 3 green for a star +1. Really weird, but it's an ooze, and it says Consuming Blob's power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. At the beginning of your end step, create a green ooze token with this creature's power is equal to the number. It's basically the same thing. It makes the copy of itself at the end step. So it's like it's a Tarmogoyf for people who played with that card, and it copies itself each end step.
So it's nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. I guess not quite Tarmogoyf because Tarmogoyf counts all graves, but even still, you're often going to have sorcery creature. It's going to be a 2/3 or 3/4 pretty easily, and then it just keeps replicating itself. So, yeah, big fan of this. This is also just an A.
This is an A, yeah.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay. Next is Unnatural Growth. Good God. 1 quad green for an enchantment. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn.
Yeah, quad green's a tough ask.
That is a big ask.
And the last time we saw a quad green card, or like a quad color card, or one of the more ones I'm thinking of right now that's easy to think of is the what's called Feasting Troll King from Eldraine. Right, that like the 7/6 they made a bunch of food.
Yeah.
And that was both in a set where you were incentivized to be monocolored, and the payoff was really, really good. I don't know if the payoff's actually that good here, and it's hard to cast. Quad green, even in a deck that's 10/7 or 11/6, is still not trivial.
No, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you thought about again, Eldraine's a great example where, folks would try and play their, whatever, you played your red-white hybrid card in your red-blue deck.
Right, and it's just so hard.
And you can't do that. You need like at least 14 sources or something.
Right, so mana aside, let's say you're playing close to a mono green deck. You just happen to luck into a deck. You get this really late, right? How good is the card?
I don't know. Again, you need a lot of creatures. You need creatures for this to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good, right? Like you play it in a high creature deck. Green's got a lot of, we already saw it's got a ton of 2-drops. Like turning those all into 4/4s or whatever. Yeah. That's hard to beat.
Yeah, I think you can, if you end up in this is not a card you should take early. This is not a card you should play with 10 forests in your deck unless you have some situation where you have a lot of things that untap your lands or a lot of ways to get different sources. But if you can actually cast it, and, be honest with yourself, of course, if you can actually cast it, I think the card is actually pretty decent. Like it's like a B+ level card.
But like such a huge build around. But
yeah. So I mean, overall, it's probably like a D. But
right.
If you do get there, it's like a B or a B+.
Yeah. So we'll go build around B and then parentheses D.
Yeah, basically. Okay. We got red and 7.
Yeah.
Versus our green planeswalker here. 3 green, 5 mana for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. It's got 4 abilities. The first one says +1. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all land cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest into the graveyard. The 0 ability. Put any number of lands from your hand onto the battlefield. So not that relevant. -3. Create a green tree folk creature token with reach, and this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. And then again, that's like it's another one of those modular things where it can change with the number of lands you have. Then its ultimate is -8. Return all permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. You get an emblem with you have no max hand size. So this to break this down a little bit, right? The +1 ability is card advantage, right? You're going to be in multiple ways. You're putting lands in your hand.
Yeah.
You're going to be dumping stuff, right?
Yeah, except so a card like Mulch.
Yeah.
For 2 mana does this effect. That's a much more relevant turn to hit land drops, like keeping a 2-land hand with a Mulch. And by this point, the lands are not going to be super relevant. And so, sure, if you're binning flashback stuff or disturb stuff, that's fine. Yeah. But yeah.
They grow your tokens, though, right? That's something relevant, and they give you mana to if you do get to the ultimate, cast all your spells, which I know it's like not that relevant, but I think it's a good +1, right? Mm-hmm. And then like I said, the 0 is kind of a whatever ability. You don't really care about dumping all your lands onto the battlefield that often. And the -3, this is the one you're probably going to be using this the turn it comes down, right? You're going to be making a 5/5 most of the time, 5/5 reach that will grow with the game.
Right. As chat's putting out, I think the common play pattern is going to be -3, +1,
yes.
-3.
Yes, I think so too.
Cash this in for a delayed, get your immediate large creature, and if it sticks around, great, you're going to get your large creature again in 2 turns.
Totally. Yeah, I agree with that. So, what do we 5/5 that grows, and then potentially another 5/5 that grows a turn later? That's really good.
Probably an A-.
I think so too.
It does seem, it's it makes a 5/5 that is protecting this thing. So if you want to kill it to prevent them from getting another 7/7 or whatever in 2 turns, this is I think it's an A-.
Yeah, and it also kind of solves one of the problems with Planeswalkers. It's just I can't really downtick for the good ability because they have a little flyer, and this has reach, right? So, All right, let's move on. What's up next?
Storm the Festival is 3 triple green. For a sorcery, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put up to 2 permanent cards with mana value 5 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, and it has flashback for 7 triple green.
It's like a big collected company in a way, sort of, right?
Yeah.
Not very exciting though, right?
Top 5 cards. So it's kind of like Lead the Stampede. Lead the Stampede drew you all the creatures you saw. But looking at the top 5, you're likely to find 2. They're likely to be 5 or less. And then you just they just go into play.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is a great card, though. Like you're often gonna find like a 3-drop and a 4-drop or something with this. I don't think you're not often getting like 2 5-drops or whatever.
No.
5 cards is not a lot. That's not very deep.
Well, so do you play Lead the Stampede?
I'm not that excited about it. No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited about it either, but this is better than
and
that.
then the flashback's 10. That's like quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty out on this. I think
right.
this is like a D+.
Okay. I'm down with
Yeah.
D+.
All right, and our last green rare here, we've got Tolavar's Huntmaster. Wow, we saved a good one for last year.
Yeah.
So this is 4
this is
green
actual
green.
Grave Titan.
Yeah, these cards are ridiculous. It's 4 green for a 6/6. Human werewolf, daybound. When it enters the battlefield, you create 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. That's like you said, Grave Titan.
Why isn't this a mythic?
I don't know. And then, but wait, there's more. The backside, the Nightbound side, it's a 7/7, and it says, the same thing. But if it enters or attacks, create 2/2 green wolf tokens. Then has an activated ability, 2 green, another target wolf or werewolf you control fights target creature you don't control. This card's absurd. This card is just ridiculous.
This is the best rare in the set?
It's top 3 for sure, if not the best.
Yeah, this is an A+.
Yeah, it's an A+.
Oh, that makes me so mad that that's not mythic. Okay, great. Well, that's green.